Chapter 2 Signs. For the rest of that day, Zanna tried to avoid her friends. They eventually caught up with her in the lunch queue, but when she told them to leave her alone, it was in such a nasty voice that they obeyed.
"Forget it,"
said Kath.
"She's just rude." "She's mad,"
said Bex, and they walked away ostentatiously. Only Diva stayed. She didn't try to talk to Zanna. Instead, she watched her thoughtfully. That afternoon, she waited for Zanna after school. Zanna tried to get by in the rush, but Diva wouldn't let her. She crept up on her, then suddenly linked an arm into one of hers. Zanna tried to look angry, but it didn't last very long.
"Oh, Deebs, what's going on?"
she said. They made their way to the estate where they both lived and headed for Diva's house. Her boisterous, talkative family, while sometimes exasperating with all their noise and kerfuffle, were generally a comfortable backdrop for any discussion. As usual, people looked at the girls as they passed. They made a funny pair. Diva was shorter and rounder and messier than her skinny friend. Her long black hair was making its usual break for freedom from her ponytail, in contrast to Zanna's tightly slicked-back blondness. Zanna was silent, while Diva kept asking her if she was okay. "Hello, Miss Resham. Hello, Miss Moon," sang Diva's father as they entered. "What have you been doing? Cup of tea for you ladies."
"Hi, sweetheart,"
said Diva's mum.
"How was your day? Hello, Zanna. How are you doing?" "Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Resham,"
said Zanna, smiling with her usual nervous pleasure, as Diva's parents beamed at her.
"Fine, thank you." "Leave her alone, Dad,"
said Diva, dragging Zanna through to her room.
"Except for the tea, please." "So nothing happened to you today,"
said her mother.
"You have nothing to report. You had a totally empty day. You amaze me." "It was fine,"
she said.
"It was same as always, innit?"
Without getting up, Diva's parents started loudly consoling her about the tragedy of how nothing ever changed for her, and that every day was the same. Diva rolled her eyes at them and closed her door. They sat without speaking for a while. Diva put on lip gloss. Zanna just sat.
"What are we going to do, Zanna?"
said Diva at last.
"Something's going on." "I know,"
said Zanna.
"It's getting worse."
It was hard to say exactly when it had all started. Things had been getting strange for at least a month.
"Remember when I saw that cloud?"
said Diva.
"That looked like you? That was weeks ago. And it didn't look anything like anything,"
Zanna said.
"Let's stick to real stuff. The fox today. And that woman. What was on the wall? And the letter. That sort of thing."
It had been early autumn when the odd events had started to occur. They had been in the Rose Cafe. None of them had paid any attention when the door opened, until they'd realized that the woman who'd come in was standing quietly by their table. One by one they looked at her. She'd been wearing a bus driver's uniform, the cap at a perky angle. She was grinning.
"Sorry to butt in,"
the woman said.
"I hope you don't. Just very exciting to meet you."
She smiled at all of them, but addressed Zanna.
"Just wanted to say that."
The girls stared in dumb astonishment for several seconds. Zanna had tried to stutter some reply. Kath had burst out with,
"What?"
and Diva had started laughing. None of this fazed the woman. She said a nonsense word.
"Schwazi,"
she said.
"I heard you'd be here, but I wouldn't have believed it."
With one more smile, she left, leaving the girls laughing nervously and loudly until the waitress had asked them to calm down.
"Nutter. Nutter. Bloody nutter."
If that had been all, it would have been just one of those stories about someone a bit loopy on London streets. But that had not been all. Some days later, Diba had been with Zanna, walking under the old bridge over Iverson Road. She looked up, reading some of the cruder graffiti. There, behind the pigeon net, far higher than anyone could have reached, was painted in vivid yellow, Zanna Forever.
Core. Someone else called Zanna.
Diba said.
Or you've got long arms. Or someone massive loves you, Zan. Shut up,
Zanna said.
It's true, though.
Diba said.
No one else is called Zanna, you're always saying. Now you've made your mark.
A little while after that, the day after Guy Fawkes Night, when London was full of bonfires and fireworks, Zanna had come to school upset. At last, when she was alone with Diba, Zanna had pulled a piece of paper and a card out of her bag. A postman had been waiting outside her front door. He had given her a letter with no name on the envelope, just handed it straight to her as soon as she had emerged, and disappeared. She hesitated before showing it to Diba.
Don't tell any of the others,
she had said.
Swear? We look forward to meeting you,
Diba read.
When the wheel turns. Who's it from?
Diba said.
If I knew that, I wouldn't be freaked out. And there's no stamp. Is there a mark?
Diba said.
To say where it comes from. Is that a U? An L. And that says on, I think.
They couldn't read any more.
He said something to me.
Zanna said.
The same thing that woman did. Schwazi, he said. I was like, what? I tried to follow him, but he was gone. What does it mean?
Diba said.
That's not all,
said Zanna.
This was in there too.
It was a little square of card, some strange design, a beautiful, intricate thing of multicolored, swirling lines. It was, Diba had realized, some mad version of a London travel card. It said it was good for zones 1 to 6, buses and trains all across the city. On the dotted line across its center was carefully printed, Zanna, Moon Schwazi. That was when Diba had told Zanna that she had to tell her parents. She herself had kept her promise and never told anyone.
Did you tell them?
Said Diba.
How can I?
Said Zanna.
What am I going to say about the animals?
For the last few weeks, dogs would often stop as Zanna walked by and stare at her. Once a little conga line of 3 squirrels had come down from a tree as Zanna sat in Queen's Park, and one by one had put a little nut or seed in front of her. Only cats ignored her.
It's mad,
said Zanna.
I don't know what's going on, and I can't tell them. They'll think I need help. Maybe I do. But I tell you one thing.
Her voice was surprisingly firm.
I was thinking it when I looked at that fox. At first I was scared. I still don't want to talk about it. Not to Kath and that lot. So don't say nothing, all right? But I've had enough. Something's happening. Okay? Well, I'm ready for it.
Outside, it was storming. The air was growling and rumbustious. People crammed under eaves or huddled into their coats and shuffled through the rain. Through Diba's window, the girls watched people dance and wrestle with umbrellas. When Zanna left, she ran out past a sheltering woman with a ridiculous little dog on a lead. As it saw her, the dog sat up in an oddly dignified way. It bowed its head. Zanna looked at the little dog and, obviously as surprised by her own reaction as by the animal's greeting, bowed her head back.